Hey guys, this is Aaron Farmer with MySugarFreeJourney.com. My wife and I went tonight to go see Fed Up, the documentary. So I just wrote a big review for it on my site, but there was just so much. I got tired of typing, so I wanted to kind of get my thoughts down in a video. First of all, just in way of review, the documentary itself was very, very well made. Katie Couric and Lori David were both executive producers of it. Katie Couric did the what do you call it, the voiceover, and Lori David was the woman who did An Inconvenient Truth, so she knows her way around a documentary. So it was very, very well done. The graphics were beautiful. The interviews were beautiful. It was well put together. Very, very informative. If you are concerned about your food, if you're concerned about the food supply, you should be, and you should go see this documentary, because there's a good chance you don't know a tenth of the issues that there are with our food supply. So in writing the review, some of the things that came out in the documentary that I didn't actually get written up because they made me so angry to watch some of the things that are in this documentary, particularly when it talks about the role our government has allowed big food, these big food companies like Kellogg's and Coca-Cola and McDonald's and whatnot, to play in changing what we eat, in affecting what we eat, and keeping the truths from us about how deadly this sugar is, and the fact that they're adding it to everything. So when you look at the back of I wish I had one here. When you look at the back of a list of nutrition information on the back of any processed food, it'll tell you like how many grams of protein and all the different things, fiber and everything, and it'll tell you on the right hand side what percentage of, like it'll say protein 3 grams, 10%. So that is 10% of the protein that the government thinks that you need to eat every day, so that you can see, okay, this product, if I eat it, it's going to give me 10% of the protein I need today. So you need, that's not the only thing you can eat today. There's other things you need to eat. But the one thing that they will tell you the amount of, but they won't give you a percentage for, is sugar. And that's on purpose, because they don't want you to know how much sugar is in this. And not so much that they don't want you to know how much is in there. They don't have a problem telling you how much. They don't want you to see how much sugar is in there in proportion to how much you should eat every day. You should have at most 8 or 9 teaspoons of sugar every day, at most. And there is more than 8 or 9 teaspoons in virtually every single product on the shelf. I mean, honestly, if there was a percentage next to sugars, almost every product on your grocery shelf that percentage would be above 100%. Some of it would be over 150, 200%. There's just that much sugar in our food supply. So we should, as consumers, have the right to know that, have the right to see that, have the right to see how much sugar we're consuming in relation to how much sugar we could consume. But the government has allowed these big food companies to deceive us, has allowed these big food companies to come in and throw their weight around, throw their money around, and change the way the recommendations of doctors and people who know what they're talking about, to allow this very dangerous thing to go on. And it was amazing to me how they detailed the kind of the battle plan of these big food companies. If somebody comes and says, well, for instance, when Mayor Bloomberg said no more large Cokes in New York, conservative, and when we're talking about conservative news stations, we're really talking about Fox News, right? I mean, that's really the only conservative news station out there. And please understand, I would consider myself a conservative. I'm a Republican. I'm from the South, Christian Republican. I'm just about as stereotypical as you can get. Um, so, um, so what these food companies will say, this is just big government sticking their nose in where it doesn't belong, and telling us what we can and can't eat. The food police telling us what we can and can't eat. And believe me, as a conservative, that resonates with me because I don't think I think there should be limits to government power. However, what that's led to is the government allowing these big food companies to suppress information we should have about our food, to suppress how bad sugar is, to suppress the fact that it is almost single-handedly behind the obesity epidemic in America today. 30 years ago they thought it was fat, so we took fat out of everything. Well, when they took the fat out of everything, it was reduced fat Oreos, reduced fat this, reduced fat that. Well, when they took the fat out of everything, they added sugar to it to make it taste good because you take the fat out of the food. For 30 years, we did what we were told as a nation. We bought the reduced fat products. We went to the gym and worked out. And, as you see on a graph, the number of reduced fat products that we bought as a nation and the number of gym memberships and time we spent working out go up, so too did our average weight, went up right along with it. Because the issue wasn't fat. The issue wasn't exercise. The issue was sugar. And it was sugar all along. And if somebody had allowed the government way back in the 70s to do what they originally wanted, was to step up and say, we need to cut back on sugar, but our government succumbed to the power of these food lobbyists and took those recommendations out of reports and things that were being developed at the time. Even as recently as the Bush administration, the World Health Organization put out or they were going to put out a paper really pointing the finger at sugar as the main cause of increased rates of obesity across the world. This isn't just an American problem. This is becoming a worldwide problem, mainly because America is exporting, the world's food, and so the World Health Organization was ready to point their finger at sugar and say, this is the issue, this is the problem, this is what we need to deal with. And we sent I guess an ambassador. I'm not sure what office he held, but we sent an ambassador to the World Health Organization and said, basically, if you print this report, we're going to withhold our something like $400 million of financial support that we were going to give the World Health Organization. And so the World Health Organization had to choose between printing this report or $400 million. Well, and you could guess which one they chose. They picked the $400 million. That report was never released, or at least all the mentions of sugar were redacted from it. And once again, the government allowed us, not just us, the American people, but allowed, World Health Organization is an international organization, allowed people across the globe to be misled about the food that they eat. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. I'm so thankful that I read, that I found out about this. I really wish that I'd found out about the evils of sugar 10 years ago. Maybe I wouldn't be as big as I am right now. I wish I'd heard about it. I wish somebody had said, it's not about the fat, it's about the sugar. But they didn't. And it's partially our government's fault, and it's partially Big Food's fault. And I know the common refrain is, well, you shouldn't have eaten all that stuff that you ate. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have. But when you when you're trying to obey the rules that you're given, namely reduce the fat, and and you think you're doing right, but you don't have the correct information, you can't make correct choices. So this has been a problem in a long time coming. Some of the statistics they gave in this documentary were just mind blowing. That in a couple decades, something like by 2050, if we continue to grow, our obesity rates continue to grow at the rates they are right now, we will have something like 90% of our population will be obese. That's insane. One third of people will have diabetes. That's insane. I mean, it's insane. It's insane that that's coming. But the most insane thing about it is we know what's going. We know what causes it. We can fix it. If we would just get on the, on our national soapboxes, the people that have platforms that big, and tell the world it's sugar. If you just stop eating all this sugar, you're going to be okay. You'll lose the weight. Everything will be fine. It would things would go so much better. One final thing, and then we'll. I know this video is already 11 minutes long. So they followed throughout the documentary. They followed the lives of these 3 teenagers. At the end, one of the teenagers decided to go on to get rid of sugar. So for 10 days, they decided to get rid of sugar, and the whole family lost like 15 pounds. So they continued to do it for like 3 or 4 months. And this kid who was so worried about his weight had lost, I forget the exact numbers, had lost like 30 or 40 pounds over the course of the 3 or 4 months that he stopped eating, that he'd stopped eating sugar. And then when he got through all of that, took all that sugar out of his system, and lost all that weight, was looking good in the documentary, then they started eating like they had before, and they gained it all back. The whole family gained it all back. That was the saddest point of the movie. It was heartbreaking. They had the answer, and they went back to the old ways. Not me. Not me. I found out the answer. I wish I'd found out years ago. I'm never going back. This is it for me. No more sugar. No more sugar. It is a slow-acting chronic poison. It's terrible. It's terrible, the things that it's done to me, and it's terrible the things that it's done to the people I love, and it's terrible the things that it's done to this nation. And it's terrible that our government did not take the steps necessary to make sure that this wouldn't be an issue. So that's my review of Fed Up. More of a rant, I guess, but it's an excellent documentary. You need to go watch it. If there's when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, whatever, go buy yourself a copy and show it to everyone that you can. It's just that good. It's that powerful. I appreciate you watching. This is Aaron Farmer with MySugarFreeJourney.com.